NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. I am delighted to be joined by the team of Laylac. Oh my goodness me! Like we've got Dennis here, we've got Scott here, we've got Mustafa here, we've got the core team right here. The only thing is that we're not doing this in New York City together, so we got to deal with this virtual experience. But I wish I was there with you. But for those that haven't seen the film, let's take a look at a clip. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's really special to have all of you, the whole team, from this really, really powerful film. And thank you for bringing it to New Filmmakers LA. Now, I know obviously we all taken on different roles in this, but I'd love to kind of start maybe from the standpoint of a brief synopsis of the film. So whoever wants to get into the idea of a brief synopsis, please feel free to share the brief synopsis of the film.
So basically what's happening is in a present time in New York, a Turkish gravedigger conceals a truth from his daughter. He is trying to come to terms with a disaster that happened to him. And as he's trying to overcome to that, he's also trying to connect with his daughter as well.
Mustafa, it's a really insanely powerful film about just family members going through a really, really hard time, and it was so powerful to watch on camera. Before we get into the rest of the team, where did the inspiration come for you in making this particular project?
The specific inspiration came to me in one of the articles that Scott sent me while we were in the height of the pandemic. So we were working on a different project with Scott and Dennis, but when the pandemic hit, that created a lot of emotions in us. And as an artist, we thought that we should, create our reflection of how we feel in these times. So then we sat down together, brainstormed, and it came to me as a form of poem, a very short poem, and then I expanded it into a longer piece.
Yeah, I mean, there's families were going through so much during this period. It still feels eerie to watch a film, with masks on and during that pandemic. But sometimes, there's so many stories that are going on in each individual families as well. And this one there was obviously a lot happening. Now, obviously you got the dream team here. So, with Dennis and Scott. Dennis and Scott, how did you get involved with the project with Mufasa and taking on your roles? How did that process begin?
Sure, yeah. So I mean, Mustafa and us, we wanted to collaborate on the project, and the height of the pandemic, as Mustafa said, we said, this is an opportunity where people were caving in and being scared. But as filmmakers, it's that's how we express our emotion. Art is our words, is our therapy. And during these uncertain times, these were things that we knew were certain, how we can create something that can affect the entire world, that we can connect to each other, that we can come together because everyone was separate. And it just provided us an opportunity to bring our friends back to work. And everyone's super, super excited about it. So we thought that not only for us, but for our friends, for our filmmaker friends, from our actor friends, there's just a lot of joy in creating films. And that was something we could look forward to. We know when we started writing it, that it wasn't, we had some time before things hopefully would settle down. And then during the summertime in New York, we knew that was our time to set and shoot. So over, a 2-month span, Mustafa worked in the script after writing it after 1 week. And it was incredible shape because we were able to turn around so quickly because we were going through it. We were living through it. So there wasn't much thinking. It was more of just putting what reality was on the page. And I think that's what was so authentic and allowed us to work at a quick pace to bring everything together.
Yeah, you certainly did that. And from you, for Dennis, from your perspective, like what was the dynamic like for you?
For me, it was more of, when this pandemic started, I was actually terrified myself because I didn't really know what to expect, what was going to happen. And when we all came together to make this film, some people said, well, you guys are a little bit, there's a pandemic going on. Are you guys going to make a movie? So we knew it would be a challenge, but we felt like it was a story that needed to be told. And I think this story is going to stand the test of time, which is what I like to say, is because it's universal. Everyone can connect with this story. Everyone knows someone or has someone that they lost from this virus. And I really think that we did a phenomenal job. And I'm just super happy and grateful for the team that I have.
Like you said, Dennis, there's such a universal story to be told with this. And, I'm privileged enough to have, friends from Turkey, and there's such a strong dynamic of family and the way that Turkish people support each other, which made me cry because, I just think there's just such a strong family sense in Turkish culture. But, living in a place like New York, which was one of the centers of the pandemic as well. And I'm sure you remember living there. There was just bodies being it was horrific. No one can even comprehend how awful that was to experience. Now, going into more of the sort of, setting the scene and directing a piece like this, you had tremendous actors who just really showed the reality of what was going on. How did you work with your actors in this? Were you very hands-on? Did you let people play? Like, what was that dynamic like for you in terms of directing your actors?
Yeah, so I mean, our actors are phenomenal. It was Nadir's first film in America, and it was Isabella who played Rank, her first film ever.
Wow.
So to bring these stakes so high, we all wanted to create something so special, and we wanted to create something as well as authentic. So when Mustafa was writing the script, he didn't write much dialogue because there's nothing needs to be said. It just needs to be seen. We're all living through it. You really can't put it into words. It's more about just watching and feeling. So when it comes to working with the actors, Mustafa was gracious enough to open up the script to the actors, to allow them to partake in the script process once the first draft was written, to really become who those characters were. And once they crafted and knew who they were, as directors, we want to give them the confidence that they can do what they want on screen. So certain scenes that we just had their playground all set. When Nadir Yusuf was in his bedroom and he brought the mask to his face and he was touching all of his wife's things, just feeling that emotion, that was a playground for him. Nothing directed, nothing scripted, but we said, hey, we have, obviously we speak to him where he's at emotionally and mentally. And we say, take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes, just live in this area and breathe the area, be the area, be who you are in this movie that we've constructed all together. And we love giving actors the beautiful thing of improvisation, living with their characters. And especially since we shot in a documentary style with these one long takes after scene, you can't really make the actors say, cue this, cue that, hey, turn here, turn there. Then you just get lost in the process, and then you lose the feeling and the true emotion. So after those long takes, it's a matter of, hey, this is your environment. Here are a few moments we need you to hit, but live it, breathe it, and be who you need to be to express it.
I want to be on your set all the time. Like, all you three, like, you just really just get it. It's so great when you get it, because it really does articulate on camera. And, and I'm, normally I talk about lots of different things about the whole dynamic of, production side of stuff, but the story is so important. It's all about the story. You literally are living and breathing, even just the way they walk down the street with their masks on, like, you can feel everything that's going on behind those masks and just that reality. And it just came across so well. So the fact you gave them that freedom it really showed on camera. Mustafa, like, again, from a writer's perspective, what did you, it's a hard one because I'm sure everyone's going to take different things from it, but what did you want your audience to take from your film?
Honestly, when I was writing this piece, again, there was a lot of a self journey to self. I went back to where I lost my dad when I was 9. So it was, I was very young to understand what was happening, but I couldn't word it, but I was feeling it. I knew something was wrong, something was happening. I could not name it, but I was observing it and seeing it. I think instinctively I was there feeling that. Maybe this piece is in a way me kind of going back and, you know, kind of reevaluating my own thoughts and feelings in a way. But on the other hand, it was more of also my role was almost like a reporter, trying to report how it happens with emotions underneath to it. I think everyone will take their own interpretation of it, but we all have somehow we lost someone. We all have some big losses in our life, and it's not that easy to accept it, especially when you're living it collectively.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, I mean, again, it's a very, very, very important story. I mean, I know we got, as I said, we got the dream team here, so I could talk to you all for hours, but I do need to know what is happening next for you, all together or individually. Dennis, I'll let you start.
Thank you for referring us to the dream team. That's very, very generous statement that you said. Right now, we each have several projects in the pipeline, but our primary focus is to see what's going to happen with film, especially gearing up for the Oscars. But we do have several projects in development, features, some television pilots and whatnot. But everything now that we're working on is kind of under wraps. But there are projects in the pipeline.
Fantastic. I should hope so too. When best energies and wishes towards that. And anything to elaborate on, Scott or Mustafa?
I mean, the biggest thing is after this film and being exposed to, all these cultures, that's what New York is all about. I think at the end of the day, what we want to do as filmmakers is bring both hemispheres of the world together. And whatever we can do to bring universal movies to people that can feel, emote, and talk about, I think that's the ultimate goal. And it's just finding those right pieces, the right moves, and just at the end of the day, focusing on story. And it's been a beautiful process working all together. It's been an amazing thing during this time. And I think I'm just very, very grateful for it. And I'm looking forward to the future and hoping things just continue in such a beautiful way.
Absolutely. Mustafa, final words?
There's a lot of stories that we want to tell. I individually want to tell a lot of experiences I had in this country. I live here over 14 years now. And more I'm becoming fond of the culture, more I'm realizing that my place in this world as well. And with the cultural diversity and abundance of stories, I think the future is very bright in terms of storytelling for all of us.
It is bright with you all moving us forward. It's very bright. Well, this was just to close on as well how special this was that your film, Dennis, speaking of the Oscars, this was part of an in focus program with the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, celebrating in particularly, a program that was celebrating Middle East and Arab cinema, which is such a special month that we have at New Filmmakers. But it's so nice when the Academy can recognize fantastic filmmakers and films like yours. Did that feel special, particularly with this being part of this particular program?
I think it definitely feels special. It's amazing you were hoping to be recognized. And I think it's just really you look back and you see, what, all the hard work we put into this film, the story, the characters, everything, we're hoping it's going to pay off. And we've had an amazing festival run. And now we're just really praying for the Oscars.
Amazing. I know we're going to be there right with you.
And just being a part of this particular program in this film festival, it's amazing when you bring alike people together, because sometimes you don't know who you are, where you stand, where are your other people that are like you. And it's just a beautiful thing to be congregate with other people. I mean, I've had people on Instagram from our program reach out to me and say, hey, it's so good you're making films like us and this and all around the world. And I think that's the beauty of what New Filmmakers does. It's bringing filmmakers, no matter where you are, no matter what background you are. But if you have similarities, we're going to bring you together and show you that you're not alone, that to encourage you, to give you the confidence to continue to make films that are sincere and are, about life and real people, because we're all here together.
Absolutely, Scott. Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you very, very much for bringing your film to us. It's been a really, really special experience, and just keep making more movies for us, and we're sending you all the best wishes for the next ventures, okay?
Thank you so much for your time. We're so proud, and thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.